welcome, and you acknowledged. Councillor Imraan Moosa, welcome. All protocols observed. The CEO, I believe, Mr. David of Solar Africa, his support team, ourselves, Robin Barron from Emergent. We welcome you to the first of its kind of a solar installation in the city of Joburg, or as Dr. Phalatse likes to put it, the city of gold. The system, I'm not going to give away too much of the size of the system or any technical specs, because I believe David will do it. We chose not to have a big opening. However, we prefer to have the press here so that this has reach. The reason for reach is we'd like to be an example and pioneer the way for shopping centers across South Africa, hopefully across the globe, to do a facility that we've done here. The facility belongs to Solar Africa. They graciously rent the space from me, and they provide us power from the sun that saves us taking power from the grid, which we already know is under massive, massive strain. So we try to do our best in fulfilling our green responsibility and our social responsibility in relieving the grid of power. When Solar Africa approached me to do this project, I did think it was pie in the sky. It took us, about 2 years to put it to bed. And 2 years later, we started the project about 6 months ago. It was delivered on time, in time, and fully operational. Not to take away any of your thunder, but Douglas, if you could help me out, what are we producing right now as we speak? You got to see this, it's amazing. Come here, Douglas, don't be shy. They don't work. So the system is live. We can track it minute for minute, hour for hour, or in 5-minute intervals. So as we sit here right now, and you can see the bit of cloud cover, we are producing 2.4 megawatts of power. The system right now, in the state that it's in, can produce 3.5, or it's designed rather to produce 3.5 megawatts of power, and the output of power at its maximum is 2.6. As a landlord, I'm allowed to give you some stats. The stats are we use around 20,000 square meters of parking space to produce this power. As you can see in front of you, it extends in front to the back as far as your eye can see, and on the top. If you turn around, it's the entire roof of Food Lovers and the entire roof of the residents as well. So we used around 6,700 panels or something to that effect of power of solar panels, and we're producing 2.6 megawatts at its peak. There is no other system like this in a retail environment anywhere in SA. I say that happily, and I say that quietly confident at the risk of sounding arrogant. I'm very happy and I'm very proud to announce that this is the only system that it can produce that much power in a retail environment. However, we are unfortunately grid tied. So we are dependent on city power. So I don't want to create an expectation that when there's load shedding or when there's an outage, that we're still miraculously going to survive because of the sun. We're not. We are, however, taking away from the grid. And when government does eventually announce that we can wheel power, we'll obviously sell power into the grid to relieve more pressure off the grid. Our program today was meant to start at 2, so my apologies for starting late. It's the description of the program will run as follows. The description of the power will be by David, who is the CEO of Solar Africa in Johannesburg, and he'll give you some more stats of Solar Africa, how big they are, what they do, what are the projects they've done, and then obviously a speech by our ward councillor, Mr. Imraan Moosa, who is technically not our ward councillor, but I like to call him the ward councillor of the South. He's a selfless man, and he does a lot of work for our ward, which doesn't even fall into his ward, but we must commend him for the efforts that he puts in. And then obviously our closing statements will be by the Executive Mayor of Johannesburg, Dr. Mpho Phalatse, and we'll have some refreshments thereafter, and we'll keep the program short. Thank you everybody for coming, and we hope you enjoy your time in the shade.
encouraged by many other businessmen, and you leading by example, Yaseen. Continue this good work, and really a proud moment. Congratulations, well done. Thank you so much.
I forgot my own housekeeping. I left my phone on. So Executive Mayor just asked me how much revenue are they losing. I think it's not a question of how much they're losing, but more of the thing that we spoke about at nauseam, which is private government collaboration. If you squeal about government, show me what you've done to help government. Then you have the right to squeal about government. If you can't show me what you've done to help government and you've done nothing, don't squeal about government to me. I don't want to hear you. So obviously we lead by example. Yes, the city is going to lose revenue. It's going to lose a lot of revenue from us by using this system. But I think the state we're in right now, and let's not make the mistake that the city of Joburg is just as much as the perils of Eskom as what we are. We are one city. So if Eskom cuts the grid, it's not the mayor who says switch the lights off to the common people, or everybody wants to know who's this guy who switches the switch off. It's an Eskom thing, and it goes far larger than load shedding, because government is not doing anything. This is a problem that has been inherited for years and years and years and years, and it's now manifested in what it is. So yes, EM, you are going to lose a little bit of revenue, but I can assure you that once government passes the bill where we can sell power back into the grid, we will put this power back into the grid, and we will relieve the grid, and there will be this private partner, private sector and government, civil society collaboration, which I think is critical to make an active society. Get that? I will now call upon EM, Dr. Phalatse, who I might say is a resilient fighter of fighters. Is a resilient fighter of fighters. She's beaten 3 motions of non-confidence, 4 motions of non-confidence. There we go. 4 motions of non-confidence, 1 ousting, and probably not the last. First female DA, black female mayor of the largest contributor to the South African GDP city, Dr. Phalatse. My friend.
Thank you. Thank you very much, and a very good afternoon to everyone. Okay, I see the cable is short. I need to stand close to the speakers. Very good afternoon to everyone here. Thank you for coming to celebrate this momentous occasion where we're seeing a 56 million rand investment in the city of Johannesburg. From an investment attraction point of view, the city can be proud to see that the private sector is continuing to invest in the city. So to Solar Africa as well as Trade Mall, thank you for making that investment. So like Yaseen said, I am a bit torn. I'm a bit torn today as the mayor, because on the one hand, I've got lots to celebrate with this development. The multi-party government in Joburg has 7 mayoral priorities. The first of which is getting the basics right. What does it mean, getting the basics right? One of the things we are focusing on is stabilizing electricity supply in the city. Electricity supply is one of the biggest challenges in the city. Now, you all know that Johannesburg is the economic hub of South Africa. We contribute about 15% of the country's GDP. What that means is we cannot afford any downtime. We need economic activity around the clock. But we also know that with load shedding or rolling blackouts, economic activity is affected. We experience downtime whenever we experience load shedding, and it works against us claiming our place as the economic hub of the country and of the continent. Luckily, in South Africa, we are still number one. However, on the continent, we're always competing with Cairo as well as Lagos in Nigeria. So we're always in the top three, and we need to get back to the number one slot. But we can't if we've got things like load shedding. Now, electricity supply is a big challenge in the city for various reasons. Over the years, we've seen population growth. So we've seen more and more people move into Johannesburg, not only from other parts of the country, but from other parts of the world as well. But we've not seen the requisite investment in infrastructure, maintenance, and upgrades. And so over the years, we've seen our infrastructure decline and we've seen population growth. And what that means is that we're unable, with our current infrastructure, to supply electricity for all the people who are in the city. And that is a problem. So we've got inadequate supply. We also have urban sprawl, and we've got a lot of informal settlements. And with informal settlements, we also experience illegal connections. That, again, is another challenge. We've also seen backyard dwellings increase more and more, and that's why areas like Soweto are so badly affected, because the population just grew and grew and grew. The grid is no longer coping, the infrastructure is not coping, and so there's huge electricity challenges in that area. And I could go on and on and on with all the challenges that we have. So one of our top priorities in this administration is to stabilize electricity supply. And to show that we're serious about it, in the month of May, we hosted a 2-day energy indaba, where for the first time, the city said enough is enough. We're tired of depending on Eskom for our electricity supply. What the city does is we purchase power from Eskom and we resell it to our ratepayers, who are our customers. Thank you very much. So currently, we've got two main suppliers of energy. That's Eskom. They supply about 90% of our electricity. And then we have Calvin, who is the only independent power producer that's been supplying electricity to the city of Joburg, assisting us with only a fraction of our electricity needs. And for the first time in May of this year, we said enough is enough. We're opening up for more independent power producers, and we hosted a 2-day energy indaba, and we invited everyone in the energy space, and we said, come and tell us what you're doing, and come and tell us how you can partner with the city going forward to help us increase energy efficiency, to increase our capacity, but also to introduce clean green energy. Why? The city of Johannesburg is a C40 city. What's C40 cities? C40 cities is a network of cities around the world who are committed to climate change mitigation and adaptation. And I was elected shortly after being elected executive mayor. I was elected one of the 2 Africa vice chairpersons for C40 cities, together with the governor of Abidjan. What that means is, as the mayor of Johannesburg, I need to provide leadership not only in Johannesburg, but across the region towards green solutions, which include green energy. Now, we need to encourage independent power producers to contribute towards the introduction of green, clean energy, not only in Johannesburg, but across the continent. So yes, we celebrate these kinds of solutions, but the city also has one concern, and the concern is we don't like losing revenue. And that's why you heard me ask Yaseen, how much revenue are we losing? Because effectively, the mall is getting off the grid. Now, what that means is, the reason why we invited independent power producers is the city wants to enter into partnerships with independent power producers so that with this addition and introduction of more players in the space, we don't find ourselves in a position where we're no longer selling electricity. And this is important. Why? Because we rely so much on revenue generated from the sale of electricity, the sale of water, and various other rates and taxes. And so we want to find ourselves as a city in a position where we're able to enter into agreements with independent power producers that would assist us to continue raising the revenue that we need so that we continue rendering services to all communities across the city, whether rate paying or not. And that is really where we would like to see ourselves going with this program. But I'd like to really congratulate all the players who've made this possible, and thank you for the over 100 jobs that you've managed to create. Job creation is one of our top priorities as well. We've seen unemployment at an all-time high at over 40%, particularly with the last 2 years of COVID and the economic depression that we've seen. So thank you for contributing positively towards jobs in this area. But listen and listen well, we don't like losing revenue. So I do hope that going forward we'll find ways for this to work for the city of Johannesburg as well. And I'm hopeful that that will happen. So thank you so much to all of you. And we can be proud today in Lenasia for the very first time, an establishment of this nature. Let's take care of it. And yes, by all means, let's expand. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Madam EM. Your comment is noted. You don't like losing revenue. And we don't like paying exorbitant rates either. Thank you, Madam Executive Mayor, for your positive comments, your positive thoughts, your well wishes to Solar Africa. We are proud to be your landlords. We are very happy to have this collaboration with you. We look to far more business, far bigger business with you in the future. I think Solar Africa is one of the largest solar. Where do we rank in the solar space in SA? David? So Solar Africa is the number one PPA. PPA means power producer, power purchase agreement producer. So in other words, they're an independent power producer, and they are the number one in South Africa today. We at Trade Route, I think this facility is the number 2 or number 3 of the largest solar facility in Gauteng today. And the only other one that I know of that is bigger than us is the Ford Motor Company, which is a multinational conglomerate, and it's their production plant is the only plant that's bigger than us. So well done to Lens. Not bad for some Lens boys who played on this ground when they were kids. And I'm very happy and look forward to a much longer, healthier collaboration with the city of Joburg and with Solar Africa. Thank you, everybody. We'll now have a ribbon cutting ceremony. If Madam EM would kindly take a scissors. Lindy? Where? There. There. Take my father with. Yeah, go. Oh, you guys go with. Yeah.